Okay, let's just dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we are tackling something that I really know is a massive pain point for so many of you. Today, we're talking about mastering German A1, the 50 video roadmap. This is literally the ultimate guide to finally conquering beginner German, and crucially, doing it without all that overwhelming frustration that usually comes with it. If you've ever looked at a German sentence and felt your brain just completely tie itself into a knot, well, you are absolutely in the right place. We're going to break down a really comprehensive, step-by-step roadmap designed specifically for beginners who want to build a rock-solid foundation, not just memorize, a couple of random phrases for a vacation.
So let's start by addressing the elephant in the room. Why do so many German beginnings quit? Because it's a huge percentage, and honestly, it happens incredibly fast. You get that initial burst of motivation, right? You download an app, you're super excited, and then suddenly, boom. You're hit with der, die, thus, completely unfamiliar sentence structures, and a whole bunch of rules that seem to, honestly, have way more exceptions than actual rules. People quit because they're intimidated. They lack a clear roadmap. But most of all, they end up bouncing around these unstructured language tutorials that leave them feeling like, I don't know, maybe they just aren't smart enough to get it. But let me tell you a little secret. It is almost never about your intelligence. It is entirely about your approach.
And that brings us to the missing piece, structure. That is the magic word here. Think about it like, imagine trying to build a house by just randomly buying a window on Monday, a couple of loose bricks on Tuesday, and, some roof tiles on Wednesday, and just tossing them all into a giant pile in your yard. That's exactly what happens when you try to learn German grammar rules by piecing things together randomly, without a foundational step-by-step approach. Sure, you might pick up a cool phrase here or there, but you have zero framework to put it in. Structure is the only thing that turns a frustrating, pull-your-hair-out struggle into a predictable, manageable process.
Section 1. Meet the How to Learn German channel. Now, the philosophy of this channel is brilliantly captured through a few key symbols, and this isn't an accident. First, you've got the familiar red play button. That represents highly accessible visual learning right at your fingertips whenever you need it. Then there's the globe, and that is really the whole point of this, isn't it? Connecting with the German-speaking world, broadening your horizons, really getting out there. But the absolute best part, the foundation of it all, is represented by an open book supporting everything else, topped with the graduation cap and that bright yellow light bulb moment where a concept just finally clicks in your mind. It perfectly illustrates their commitment to a rock-solid, structured education, because they know this isn't some cheap shortcut. It's about building a real foundation.
Part 2. The 50 Video German Roadmap. I am genuinely excited to talk about this because finding a meticulously planned curriculum specifically designed for absolute beginners is incredibly rare these days. Most resources just kind of throw you into the deep end and hope you can swim. But this roadmap takes you by the hand from absolute zero. And I want to just pause for a second and really emphasize this exact number, 50. 50 full lessons. Why does that matter? Because in a world of, get fluent in 5 days gimmicks, a 50-part series proves massive scale and serious commitment. They aren't sugarcoating things for you. Learning a language takes time. It takes consistent effort. By laying out 50 distinct steps, they are providing a truly comprehensive, reliable course. You don't ever have to wake up and wonder what to study on day 12 or day 34. The whole shebang is already mapped out for you.
But what is the actual destination at the end of those 50 steps? Well, it's the A1 level. And just to define that clearly, the A1 level is the foundational beginner level of language proficiency. Simply put, it means you can understand everyday expressions and form very basic, highly practical sentences. You can introduce yourself to a stranger, ask someone where they live, order a coffee, and understand some simple directions. It is a highly exact, very tangible destination. By the end of this 50-lesson journey, you won't just know some German. You will officially be an A1 German speaker.
Section 3. Structured Steps for Beginners. So how do we actually conquer this mountain without getting completely overwhelmed? The magic is totally in the pacing. Because let's be real, if you just hand someone 50 language lessons all at once, they're probably going to run screaming in the other direction. To really understand why this specific approach works, just think about random video hopping versus the 50 video A1 series. With random hopping, you are literally letting a computer algorithm decide what you learn today. You might get a lesson on advanced subjunctive verbs before you even know how to count to 10. It causes immense frustration and ultimate burnout. On the flip side, the A1 series gives you a chronological, highly structured approach. Every single concept logically builds on the concept you learned the day before. It is essentially giving you the distinct advantage of a traditional classroom, but brought right into your living room on your own schedule. And the progression they use is just so brilliantly logical. Just look at the steps. Step 1 is phonetics. Actually, before you even worry about what the words mean, you learn how to physically make the sounds of the German language so you can actually feel confident when you open your mouth to speak. Then, step 2, basic vocabulary. You start giving those sounds actual meaning, collecting your building blocks, right? And then step 3, A1 grammar. Now and only now do you learn the rules to stick all those building blocks together. You can see how much this reassures you as a learner. The heavy lifting of organization, which is hands down the hardest part of self-study, has been entirely done for you.
Part 4, ready to start A1?
We've broken down all those frustrating pain points, we've explored this incredible structured roadmap, and we've seen the exact methodology that makes this whole thing work. The path to A1 German is laid out perfectly, right in front of you. Which really leaves us with just one final, very important question. Will you press play on video 1 today? I really want to challenge you on this. If you are actually serious about learning German, it is time to abandon the endless scrolling, ignore those random app notifications, and step away from the frustration. You have a perfectly structured journey waiting for you right here from the How to Learn German channel. So make the decision to start building that foundation right now. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. Now go get started on your German.